Hi Kiwi, and welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Shining Pearl. We're jumping right into our final gym battle. Oh, if I recall, I gave him the Golem voice.
Golem. Alright, Challenger. It's not often a trainer manages to make it all the way here to challenge me. And when they do, they've all been boring battles. I didn't break a sweat beating them. I'm Volkner, the gym leader. They say I'm the top gym leader in Sinnoh, but anyway, I guess we'd better get this done. I hope you're the trainer who will make me remember how fun it is to battle.
Just for full clarity, I did use one Leppa Berry to get some PP back on Gnoggog's extra sensory, just so that we can actually have some attacking moves aside from payback. I think we're at the point of almost being at a struggle with him otherwise. Leading with a Raichu, we should be able to two-shot that with extra sensory. Now, in the last episode, I was rambling about electric types. We were on the topic of Electabuzz and Electivire, and I kinda finished what I wanted to say about them, but I'll just briefly say, I think overall I like Electabuzz's design the best out of all of them. It just looks the coolest. I like its little snaggle teeth. I like its kind of lightning bolt belly design. Overall, a cool-looking Pokemon with some weird bodily proportions, I suppose. Ambipom. Anyway, probably my biggest criticism of it is Electivire just never got terribly well competitively viable. It was a jack of all trades, master of none, and unfortunately in this competitive setting that wasn't enough to make it shine. It had access to some good punching moves, it had some good access to like decent move pool, but its base damage and bulk, like none of it was enough to really make it shine out of its competitors. So ultimately, Electivire fell off quickly, hard, and never saw relevance, and Electabuzz didn't fare much better. Basically, Electivire and Electabuzz for competitive scene basically were in the same camp. They just never really could pull off what other meta picks of the generation offered, and I have run Electivire on a competitive team. It underperformed for me, and the competitive history certainly speaks for itself, unfortunately. I think overall I don't like Electivire's design. He's just weirdly, like his head looks flat and round and just kind of off-putting to me. I don't know. Overall, net negative opinion on it, sadly. Oh, we're gonna use a full restore, are we? That's cute. Maybe I'll go for payback on this next turn for some extra damage. I don't think it'll knock it out, but it'll make sure that I can two-shot it, and it'll save some PP on extra sensory. Hopefully he doesn't have more than one full restore. Anyway, I think that's about it for Electivire. Now, in the last episode, I kind of touched on Zapdos, so why don't I wrap up on Zapdos too? So Zapdos, like I mentioned, was a competitive monster, more so in the early generations 1 through 3, maybe upwards of 4, and then it really started to fall off. And of course, when Landorus became the giant electric flying behemoth that it was, that was kind of where we officially reached the point of Zapdos had seen its day. Although I think, what is it, Galarian? Oh, what does Last Resort do? Okay, I was a little nervous about that, but we're fine. The way Last Resort works, if I understand, is you have to use every other move in your move pool first, and then Last Resort is usable, and it has a very high base damage. Thankfully, Gnoggog has just the most wonderful defense. Nothing's going to be one-shotting it easily, thankfully. And now that we're level 53, I shouldn't have to worry about other Pokemon eating it when they reach level 58, because Captain Squawk and Captain Squawk is fairly close to that now. Let's see, who's next? Raichu again? Raichu's probably going to use Full Switch a third time, or I guess a second time. I'm going to go ahead and heal while we have a chance. Let's see, I'll use a Hyper Potion here. So I don't really know much about Galarian Zapdos, but I think I heard through the grapevine that it's been a relatively decent competitive threat. I just don't know the full scope of how, why, and what it's doing, so I can't comment on it too much. In terms of design, I definitely prefer base design of Zapdos over. You know what? I appreciate this. Volkner has a very varied team. The only electric type for this electric type gym leader that we've seen so far is Raichu, which is cool. I appreciate that he actually has some variance, and that Octillery serves as an answer to the grass types, or sorry, the ground and rock types that would likely be answering his electric types otherwise. Unfortunately, we do not have any moves of Grass Knot. Octillery is straight water, so I guess I'll just hit it with the extra sensory for now. Alright, it's charging up for crits, which is a little scary, but shouldn't be that much of an issue. I think even if we get crit, we should be able to tank most of what it offers at us. We're 3-shotting it though, which is unideal. Not that I think Grass Knot would have 1-shot it, but it might have a better chance of 2-shotting it. We'll give it the payback this time, I think. Anywho, let's see, what else is there to say? Ooh, special defense drop, or is that speed? Accuracy? Accuracy. Okay, accuracy we can deal with. Yeah, so I guess that's really it for Zapdos. If I'm going based on Zapdos, oh, its Pokemon card was so cool looking, and it was a pretty big deal in Pokemon Go for a while, and obviously amazing in Pokemon Stadium. So all around, Zapdos I'd give an A tier. It's a solid, really cool design, I guess. They had a habit of making electric-type Pokemons look very spiky, I guess. I mean, looking specifically at Jolteon. Stop healing your Pokemon, mate. It's kind of lame. But specifically looking at Jolteon and Zapdos, they had kind of this spiky aesthetic going on for them, which maybe they overdid a little bit, but it's fine. I'm a little nervous about critting on Octazooka. I'll have to heal on the next turn. These accuracy drops are definitely going to add up very quickly. It should only be like I should be like at a 25% accuracy reduction. We've had really bad RNG, unfortunately. But I think yeah, I'll give Electabuzz probably a B on a rank if I were going to tier him on these things. Give him a B. There's the crit. Yeah, the crit 2-shots us. I think I'm swapping out to Manny the Dude Buster. I don't have a good answer to this actually. If it's gonna crit us like that, I'll use another Hyper Potion. We'll have to tank it out with healing. The only thing it can do is drop our accuracy, but I don't have a safe switch in here, honestly. Octazooka is special, so I can't drop its damage with Intimidate on Pine Tree or Captain Squawk. I could possibly outspeed it in Volt Switch with Captain Squawk, so there's that consideration, but I think for now, let's roll for the payback and hope that we can 2-shot it with that. Even if it crits, we should be safe. It's really the accuracy. Oh, yeah, that focus energy is adding up, and all these accuracy drops are being really rough. I don't exactly know what to do in this situation other than tank it out. Unfortunately, this Octillery is also doing a very good job of tanking it out, and yeah, at the very least we can survive 1 crit as long as I keep healing in between. If it gets 2 crits in a row, that's where it's scary, but I'm not gonna let it. I'm gonna heal if I get a first crit. We're just gonna have to count on RNG not blocking our chances to hit, because I don't know what the chance of Octazooka dropping our accuracy is, but it should not be as accurate. It should not be. It's at most 30%, I think. So this Octillery is running with Scald RNG, frankly. Oh, good. I guess it has a chance to miss on its own right. Well, that's nice of it. Oh, did we crit? We must have crit. Yeah, we crit. Okay, crit mattered there, man. Crit mattered, or at least it felt like it. It didn't really matter. We can cheese it out with healing items, but still. So Zapdos, strong A. Galarian Zapdos looks kind of derpy. I'd give it a B at best, honestly a C, and I don't have much connection with it, so I'm gonna go C. Elekid, C. Electabuzz, strong B, low A. Electivire, C. Or maybe D, honestly. It just feels like a disappointment to me when I know what it could have done. Or, well, I don't know what it could have done, but it definitely didn't do it. I guess the only other Electro type that comes to mind that I can think of that we haven't talked about was the one I already just name dropped up, of course, being a Jolteon. So why don't we take a look at the Eevee line? So we've got, oh my goodness, we've got a lot. Why don't we stick to just Gen 1 for now? So that would be Eevee, Flareon, Jolteon, and Vaporeon. Out of all of them, Vaporeon is hands down my favorite. All right, this Luxray is a little scary, but it probably has Crunch, and with all of the defense drops that we've had, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch into my own Captain Squawk. We'll match Luxray with Luxray, and this will allow us to intimidate it, drop its attack a little bit, and make it a bit easier for Gnog to tank out. I'm imagining he's gonna use Crunch here, which will hurt us, but shouldn't be too bad. I think we should survive a Crunch. We're fairly bulky. Yeah, especially with the Intimidate drop, we're fine. I guess we'll just trade Crunches then, and then I can Volt Switch out later. Crunch has the chance of a defense drop. If he gets that, I'll probably do a Volt Switch out. Oh my goodness, this guy has so much healing. We're fine though. I think even if he crits with Crunch, we should be able to take one more hit before I need to heal. So we'll go for another Crunch here. I wish we were the faster of the two, then I could Volt Switch safely. Anywho, so what else do I have to say about this situation? I think Jolteon was my favorite of the evolutions of Gen 1 when I was a kid. As mentioned before, Jolt Jeff was a member of my team. But certainly my opinion has since changed. I'm quite fond of Eevee as a base form. I think Eevee is one of my favorite Pokemon in terms of Gen 1ers. And in terms of Pokemon that I think could stand up to Pikachu as a solid like mascot for the series, I definitely think Eevee is an incredibly strong contender for that. I'm glad they chose Eevee as like the alternative to Let's Go Pikachu. Final Gambit, doesn't that one like use up all your HP? Hold on. Final Gambit, the user risks everything to attack its target. The user feints but does damage equal to its HP. Ooh, that's a scary move on some, imagine, oh my goodness, imagine if Chansey could learn Final Gambit. That's so broken. Like there's not a single Pokemon in the game aside from another Chansey that could survive a Chansey Final Gambit. Of course, not accounting for the ghost types that are just immune to it, but well, we have no reason to use a move that kills our Pokemon. Pine Tree has been a hard carry of this team, and we're not about to sacrifice them. So the only Pokemon that's left is the Raichu. So why don't we let Go Nog Nog get the win here? Our accuracy loss has been reset, so we just have to tank out whatever Raichu throws at us, which has only been Volt Switch so far.
Here it comes. Wait, got him. Here it comes. Get ready for my trump card.
I'm pretty sure Luxray was your trump card. We've seen Raichu this entire fight. You have lost, my friend. He just spams. He only uses Volt Switch on this Raichu. Anyway, so yeah, Jolteon, I loved it because it got Pin Missile, Thunderbolt, Double Kick. I thought those were some of my favorite moves as a kid, even if not all of them are terribly good. Pin Missile was so weak back in the day, but I thought it was cool. That's one of the reasons, like Twin Needle. I just thought all the moves that hit multiple times were really cool, because what if they actually did damage? They never did damage, Kiwi. They never did damage. But the thought was what mattered there. Oh, you have Surf. Why weren't you using that before, bud? Not that I resisted Volt Switch, so we should be fine. Yeah, we have a very high special defense on this guy, and Payback should knock this Raichu out just fine. Yep, there we go. Easy peasy, we have won our final gym battle. Hooray! Go Nog Nogog has seen his victory. He is now a defensive core on this team. Showbell also keeps it alive very well. Not gonna complain about that.
You got me beat. Your desire and the noble way your Pokemon battled for you. I even felt thrilled during our match. That was a very good battle.
I guess more on the evolutions in a moment.
That was the most fun I've had in a battle since I don't know when. It's also made me excited to know you and your team will keep battling to greater heights. This is your 8th gym badge. You've earned this.
Man, our badges look cruddy every time we open that case. It was such a weird mechanic they decided to incorporate into this game where you could polish your badges, and they just, like, again, you must have put them in like an ink case, like the things you use to like moisten stamps with ink.
That beacon badge lets you use the hidden move Waterfall from your Pokédex. Waterfall happens to be key if you're going to the Pokemon League. Also, because you've collected all 8 badges, any Pokemon at any level will now obey you without fail. I want you to take these too.
Stickers, hooray! I love that, like, these, like, even the burliest of burly men in Pokemon, if they're a gym leader, just like, here, have stickers. I collect stickers. I'm so kawaii.
Each TM57 contains the move Charge Beam. It may raise special attack if it learns. It's pretty hot.
I don't want anyone in a Golem voice to ever say something is pretty hot. I don't know. Charge Beam is a fun move. I actually ran it on Chansey and Blissey for a little while because it has I think a 30%, if not 50% chance of raising special attack. So you could have this really tanky Pokemon that's starting to stack stats and eventually actually do some decent damage. I don't think it was nearly as viable as my like wall setup with Chansey, but it was a fun little gimmick to, it's always funny like to make a team of all tanks but build them offense. Like everyone's like, oh gosh, I'm gonna have to phase these and like force them to switch out to get rid of their stat buffs, and this is just gonna be an unfun kind of gym battle, and then, or not, well, competitive battle, and then you're just like, what the hell, why does your Deoxys defense no overpower or something like that? Like all the kind of nonsense that you can only like come up with on the spot to bother people. It's fun. All right, well, Gonog Nogog is officially at or matching our team fairly well. I'm gonna go ahead and toss those as promised rare candies on him, seeing as, or actually I guess Gonog Nogog is genderless, so on them maybe. Let's see, rare candy. Let's get you up to, actually, how close are you to your level? Maybe I shouldn't waste that until you hit 50. Yeah, you're pretty close. All right, we'll get you to 54 and then we'll feed you the candies dope our bronzing up a little bit. Now, if I recall, most of the gym leader, or most of the Elite Four Pokemon up ahead are like level, I want to say at least level high 50s, mid 50s to, I think Cynthia's Garchomp is at least 56, if not 63. I might be misremembering. Point being is, this is where things are gonna get a little challenging. Thankfully, we have the whole, what is it? I'm totally bringing on the name, but we have Victory Road, that's it. We have the entire Victory Road ahead of us. Do you have anything to say now, Jasmine?
This city makes me feel at home somehow. It's next to the sea and there's a lighthouse. Oh, that's the city's gym badge. You must be very good. Please, take these too.
TM99, what have you got there?
Waterfall in the Hidden Moves app allows you to climb up waterfalls from the surface of the water. Each of those technical machines contains Waterfall. If you use Waterfall from the Pokédex, you'll be able to get to the Pokemon League. I don't know how I should say this, but good luck.
All right. Waterfall is actually a really good move. Do I have a Pokemon that would want to learn it, though? Not really. I don't think any of these guys could even be offered to learn it aside from probably Manny, and Manny is a special attacker, so it doesn't really do much good for him. Charge Beam, on the other hand, I'm pretty sure can be learned by Gonog. Although I don't think I want to use it on him, because we're building him physically offensive rather than specially, since he has that deleterious nature. So yeah, not a surprise, Manny's the only one who can learn Waterfall. We're going to leave it off of him because it doesn't really help us that much. But I think we begin our journey up this route. This is a new route, so we should be able to catch a new Pokemon here, hopefully. Hoping for a Tentacruel that I can add to the team. Assuming Gonog doesn't one-shot them, but I don't think he will. Tentacruels are fairly tanky mons.
I'm determined to go to the Pokemon League, no matter how hard it is.
Let me see. So Evolution. So Eevee, precious, cute, no real competitive relevance. Actually, that is a lie. What was it? Gigantamax Eevee was, I think, terrifying, but no. You know what it was? It was Baton Pass Eevee in Gen 7, whichever generation had Z moves. It was Sun and Moon. So yeah, Gen 7. I don't know. All the generations are blending together now, but Gen 7 Eevee. Gen 7 Eevee, there were Z moves. Z moves were once a battle moves that you could use as long as a Pokemon was holding a specific item, a Z crystal of some sort. And Eevee got Ultimate Evo Boost, I think? Yeah, Ultimate Evo Boost, which was basically an Omni Boost. Raised all stats of the Pokemon using it by 1. Then you Baton Pass, and you transfer all of those stat boosts to a different member of your team. And if you were doing this in doubles, you'd usually have a Pokemon with like, I think there's an ability to protect your ally. Or, you know what, Follow Me. And you have your second Pokemon use Follow Me, so that your opponent targets the user of Follow Me. For context, like I just alluded to, Follow Me is a move that a Pokemon uses to make sure all of the opponent's Pokemon target that Pokemon first until it faints, for just the turn it's used. It's not a long-lasting move, but it's long enough for Eevee to get off maximum Evo Boost or Ultimate Evo Boost. I forget the adjective, whatever. And then Baton Pass it on to another Pokemon, and that made whatever you switched out to potentially a total devastating monster.
This is so hard.
And so yeah, Eevee definitely has a competitive viability. I kind of fell out of the scene of competitive for Sword and Shield, so I don't remember what Gigantamax Eevee did.
Excuse me for wearing my bikini.
But I'm pretty sure there was some relevance to Gigantamax Eevee as well. I just don't remember what it did. I think it had some silly, like, personal move that I just can't remember what it was. So it likely had some relevance, I just don't remember. And I mean, I really like the personality they gave Eevee in Let's Go Eevee. It's fun. We're gonna squish this Azumarill with Heavy Slam. Goodbye. Goodbye, little bouncy bubble baby. If we're looking at the other evolutions, I mean, Flareon. Oh, poor Flareon. It was ruined by its stat distribution. So back in Gen 1, Gen 2, and Gen 3, as previously mentioned, the physical special split, the decision where moves were based on their theme, physical or special, rather than their type, that hadn't happened yet. So all fire type moves were special attack. No matter whether it was Fire Punch or Fire Blast, they were all considered special moves. And as a result, Flareon just was terrible. Flareon did not learn any good fire moves aside from Flamethrower, but its abysmal special stat meant that it couldn't really benefit from that damage, and its move pool was terrible. It basically, I think it only learned normal and fire attacks with few exceptions, so there was very little. Move pools are extremely important in competitive Pokemon because you want to have a Pokemon that can deal with multiple different situations, but if your only options are like 1 or 2 different types of moves, one of which normal types that aren't super effective to anything, resisted by many and completely immunized by ghost types, Flareon just couldn't do anything for Gen 1, and Gen 2 didn't do it much better, and Gen 3 similar. It was there, but it wasn't ever terribly relevant.
Was I multitasking too much, battling and swimming at the same time?
And so Flareon just never really had a true time to shine, unfortunately. It was cursed by a terrible move pool and stats to match it. And then when it finally had it, when it finally got that physical special split, it still was just locked behind its terrible move pool. I think it eventually got Earthquake of all things, which is amazing for it, but I might be misremembering. Either way, the point is, poor little Flareon never stood a chance in competitive. It just had nothing going for it for the longest time, and by the time it did, power creep had just made it a completely irrelevant thing to deal with. That said, I still have some fondness of it between Pokemon Go and the Pokemon card. I think it was my first ever evolution card. I do remember having a holographic. I had a holographic Flareon, but I also had a holographic Jolteon, and I love both of them. And so I certainly have some nostalgia for it that way, but largely, overall, I really like its design too. It was so irrelevant and competitive, and I had no connection with it in casual, that it really just, it fell off for me so hard, and it never caught back up after that. All right, let us see. So we got level 54, so I can toss those rare candies on Gonog now. But we just caught ourselves a new Tentacruel, and this one's a new route, so we should be able to add it to the team. Now, we already have Kiwi's hair, so how do I differentiate this from Kiwi's hair, but still keep it being Kiwi's hair? We've got Kiwi's Harris. There we go. Welcome to the team, Kiwi's Harris. So like I said before, Kiwi's Harris will be a replacement for Manny if we ever lose him, because it serves a similar purpose. Water type with fairly good bulk. Certainly using toxic strats and like Aqua Ring to tank enemies. That's a good strategy for Tentacruel if you ever want to use it competitively or casually with a Nuzlocke like this. Do I need to heal? Oh, that's... There we go. Now we're fine. Let's keep on trucking along, or barreling on, I suppose.
I train at a gym. I train at a Pokemon gym too. Don't think you're going to win easily.
Oh geez. Oh, that's quite the stance there, my man. Okay, that's a cute animation. I do like that. That was cute. That was a fancy volleyball serve. Okay. Like I said before, like I will give credit to this game where it is earned, and its animations are definitely a place where they're earned, I would say. I am completely out of PP on Gonog. I'm probably gonna have to switch him out for another Pokemon. I doubt Heavy Slam is gonna do any damage to this Mantyke. Even with our weight difference, it's gonna resist the damage because it's water type. Water types resist steel types for some reason. I don't fully follow, but it is what it is. In the meantime, so that's my opinion on Flareon. Design-wise, honestly, solid B, if not A for me. I really like its design. It's just in every other aspect, it falls way too down to ever get back up. So I'm gonna knock it down a letter. Let's give it a C. A high C though for me. Vaporeon, on the other hand, hands down at this point, my favorite evolution out of all of them. Maybe not design-wise, but certainly in terms of competitive viability, aesthetic. Like, certainly, I would say, if you're gonna go for Vaporeon, you're better off just going for Umbreon. Umbreon is a lot better at what Vaporeon does, in my opinion, in terms of being tanky and offering decent offense. But in early generations, Vaporeon was awesome, and I have extra nostalgia and like closeness to Vaporeon because it was one of my it was my strongest member of my Pokemon Let's Go team. I remember doing a lot with that Vaporeon. I named it Rain and felt very cool because I spelled it like a king's reign, but you know, it's like a double entendre because it refers to like the weather rain, and so it's a water type. So I thought it was cool. It's like it's a king. It's raining on the enemy. Raining over the enemy while raining down water moves and such. So forgive me, I thought it was a clever name. It's probably more than it's worth. I don't even know what it's a Mantine. Okay, yeah, let's just switch out to Captain Squawk. He's our answer to water and flying types. So yeah, super personal connection to Vaporeon. Have used it on competitive teams. Had phenomenal special defense, decent special attack, and very good HP. So it was a very good specially defensive wall. Being a mono water type is a very good defensive type because the only things that are super effective against it, to my recollection, are grass and electric types. So having, what, 12 or 13 different types of Pokemon, and only 2 of them are super effective to you, and you resist a whole bunch of things. Oh, he waved at us. That's cute. Is he just sitting on something? No, he's standing, but he just randomly waved at us. That was kind of cute. Okay. Again, I appreciate the animations in this game of the trainers, if nothing else. They're little. There's a little bit more attention to detail on them. I guess the devs knew they couldn't really make the environments look perfect, so they went with what they could control, and I respect what they did. I just wish they had more time to cook, I guess. That's a fun little animation for when he loses, too. Snaps his head off with his glasses. Okay, that description doesn't make it sound cute.
Master Wake, no, Crush Awake. I'm so sorry to have failed you.
Anyway, I don't know. For me, personal connection, competitive viability for when I used it, Vaporeon is way up there, S tier for me for sure. Okay, we've got a double battle. I think I'm just gonna have to take Onagnagog out of the lead now because he's got no PP left. So let's switch into, I think it makes sense to have Captain Squawk lead for a little bit, and probably Pine Tree, honestly. I don't expect the Pokemon around here to have Ice-type moves. And before I forget, because I've forgotten 3 times now, why don't we go ahead and toss those rare candies onto our friend, who's been through quite a lot now. So I now see that I can use multiple at the same time. I think I already knew that, but let's go ahead and do that now. There we go. Now Onagnagog is our strongest level Pokemon because we're not going to be using him for a while. Wait, he can learn Rain Dance? Huh. Well, no reason to really learn that on this build, but that's an interesting thought. Could do Trick Room Rain Setter. I wonder if anyone's done that. It feels like too much when you could just use a drizzle-inducing Pokemon instead. All right, we're set. Let's go ahead and take these trainers out.
My dream is to swim in the sea in every region under the sun.
Deep breathing before battle.
A weird combination of the two. I can't get over that guy's stance. It's so funny. But I love his volleyball serve animation for throwing out his Mons. That's really cool. I wish, that would be really fun if you could customize your own trainers' ball throwing animations. I would really appreciate if that was an option. I'm just realizing I'm leading with a double Intimidator set. This is so rude. Any physically attacking Pokemon just immediately has their attack halved. They're made irrelevant. Not that I think a Marill or a Wingull are even remotely threatening. This is kind of pathetic for the route leading up to Victory Road and the final Elite Four battle, but oh well. Wingull, and then Pine Tree, we can have you... We'll just have you Aerial Ace. That should one-shot Marill. Actually, maybe I should have had you target... It doesn't matter. We're gonna one-shot everything. They're level 39, jeez. Alright, so what about Jolteon? Jolteon, again, as a kid, one of my favorite Pokemon. Was on my Gen 1 team, and not really anywhere after that. Definitely had a Jolteon in Let's Go Eevee, or, Pokemon Let's Go. Or, oh, it's just Pokemon, what am I saying? Just Pokemon Go. So Pokemon Go for my Vaporeon, Pokemon Go for my Jolteon. And, its design has kind of fallen off for me a little bit. It doesn't, I like its doggy look, but I like fluffier looking dogs. The like pointy hair aesthetic has kind of lost it. And I know saying that after saying I love the design of Electabuzz being kind of edgier in that notion, but I don't know, for some reason for Jolteon it kind of falls off. I still really overall like Jolteon's design, but I'm a little more critical of it, I suppose. In terms of competitive viability, I think it fell off pretty hard after Gen 1, if not even sooner. Because again, if you look at Jolteon, it was probably the best answer to Starmie because it was fast, had decent special, and could use a strong electric type with same type attack damage boosting. But beyond that, it just, I don't know. My nostalgia for it or my love of it as a kid has fallen off to the wayside when I have options like Vaporeon, Espeon, Umbreon. I like all of their designs a lot more. I'm trying to think, is there anything else I have to say about them in terms of competitive? I feel like all of the Gen 1 evolutions have kind of fallen out of the competitive scene for what I follow, at least. Their relevance was early on, and I made good use of Vaporeon in Gen 4, actually, but I also, like I said, I tended to favor a Curse Payback set with Umbreon instead. For context, that was a move, you use Curse, which Curse is a Ghost-type move, but if any type that isn't Ghost-type uses Curse, their speed is lowered, and then their offense and defense is increased by 50%. And Payback, as we've shown with Go Nog Nogog, doubles its damage, and it's a physical move, but doubles its damage if you attack less. So you've been slowed by Curse, your attack has been boosted, your defense has been boosted, so you take less damage, and then Umbreon could get Moonlight, which would heal it 50%. It's basically a equivalent to Recover. So it was very effective at what it did. And so, with that in mind, I just found Umbreon to be a little bit more reliable than Vaporeon. Vaporeon certainly got Scald, and we talked about before how menacing Scald was. But I don't remember what other moves. I mean, Ice Beam, of course. But what else did what else did Vaporeon rather get? I don't know. I don't really remember because it's been so long. So but the point being is, even if these Pokemon fell off competitively, I still have a significant nostalgia for them. I had all of their trading cards. I've used all of them at some capacity aside from Flareon on a casual or competitive team. And as a result, there's a degree of fondness that I have towards them. If I were to give them rankings on a tier list, Vaporeon is a classic S. Eevee honestly is an S as well. I love its design. I love its simple nature, its cute aesthetic. I'm a simpleton and it looks like a dog, and I like fluffy dogs. Jolteon having fallen off a bit, I'm gonna give a B, and Flareon, honestly a C. Like, I would give it a B alongside Jolteon, but it just never was terribly relevant, and every chance it had to shine was ruined by power creep or bad design. Oh, you know what the thing was? Now that I remember, the reason why Flareon still never had a chance to shine even in competitive after the physical special split was because it never had a physically attacking fire move. It only had like Flamethrower and Fire Blast that it could learn, so it couldn't do anything to take advantage of its higher physical attacking stat to begin with. And when they finally gave it one, I think they gave it Flame Wheel, which is base 60 damage. That's kind of terrible. And I think it eventually got Flare Blitz as well, but Flare Blitz is a move that makes you take damage based on the damage you dealt. So yeah, it has high base damage. Yeah, it can do a lot. But Flareon doesn't have the bulk to survive the recoil damage for very long.
Ooh, I'm not done with my dream.
Inhale, exhale.
All right, Kiwi, I think that's it for this episode. I think my throat is telling me I need to call it quits for the day, so this is my last recording for the day. I hope you've enjoyed watching, and if you're awake, I hope this is helping you fall asleep. If you're sleeping, I hope you're sleeping well. In the next one, some more Pokemon, and we're going to talk about, I guess, well, not electric types, because I think we ran out of them. Until then, I love you, and I'll see you in the next one.